Hey, what's up, guys? We are live. We are live and live, live and direct. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me just do a few tests here as people come in. Welcome to the show, guys. I know it's been a while. I missed you guys as well, but hey, time to. I've been doing my research. All right, I keep on saying, right, do your research. Well, the market has been rough. Time for us to really expand and go into something totally new. Right? You guys know STOs are coming out, equity investing is coming out, and the strategy we had prior for investing with token metrics didn't really, in my opinion, fit it perfectly. Right? I feel like I had to go back to the lab, redo everything. Right? So I've been doing that. I'm still doing that. I'm nowhere close to being finished, but there is progress. Right? We're out there basically in the data gathering phase. So definitely, if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, thank you for the love, the support, right? If you like the video, smash the like, and the slice. We may even go for a while on this, right? So hey, shout out to Refresco, what's up? Naveen Vanga, Crypto 93,000, Crypto Zara, In Mangi, Kana Startup, Paul Scott, Tyler, what's up? Tyler in the house, Delacrin, howdy from Australia. Brandon, what's up? Victor Gonzalez, hey, how's it going? Mawuno Aduno, hey, what's up, brother? What's up in the house? Ramsey King, Bradley, A Vision, Jelove, Jalove T, my bad. Crazy Creeper Flame, what's up? Stefano in the house, Human from Earth in the house. All right, guys. Okay, let me just make sure I got everything here so I can see all of your chatter, right? Coming in from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I have this software that pulls in all your comments from across all platforms, so I can make sure everybody is fully heard. We don't want to miss anything you guys have to say, right? Then I will also put out the Menti code, right? So let me just open that up, right? If you have any questions for now, just post them in the chat and I'll get to them. Oh, Sir Ishi in the house. Okay. What's up, brother? Cripshot in the house. Joe Crypto. Yeah, you pumped? What do I have for you guys? Well, I have what is the, it's not the finished product, right? I'm definitely not anywhere close to even starting a brand new spreadsheet. But I'm in the process of making a spreadsheet for what I call VC metrics for now. I'll probably get a better name for it. But right now, it's basically token metrics being applied to the VC space. Definitely not the first person to start doing this data crunching, data-driven analysis. But I could say I'm going to be one of the first to really do it transparently via live streams with the community, right? Not really keeping this kind of enclosed circles like most rich people do, right? Because as you guys know, it's not just about me making money. It's about all of us making money. Crypto family. It's not just about me going to the moon, but trying to take as many people to the moon as possible, like we did in 2017 and part of 2018. And now we have to adapt, right? Because what got us to where we are now isn't necessarily what's going to get us to where we have to go next, right? So we have to adapt. We have to evolve, right? Evolution is the name of the game, right? Darwin said it best, right? It's not the species that's the strongest, that's the whatever, right? It's the species that has the best ability to adapt to its environment that survives. Think about that, guys. Not the species that's the smartest or the strongest, the one that knows how to survive. Survival of the fittest. And guys, it's been a bear market. It's been rough. I mean, we've all been taking L's, right? But as of recently, right, there've been some wins, right, with BitTorrent, with I think LTL for those who got in, right? But anyway, guys, the thing is, how do we evolve, right? What if crypto has a bear market all of 2019? How do we make our money? There's still money to be made, right? And we have to evolve and find those opportunities, because those opportunities may not come to us. Hey, what's up, Tyler? The mic is cutting off. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Let me. Is this guys? Otherwise, I'll just take off. I'm sorry, guys. All these mics not doing anything. All right, that mic took that out. Okay, hopefully that's better, guys. All right, because we are hacking the culture. See, repping the merch. Okay, somebody has a comment here. I'll get to that. Get Anderson probably at the end of the live stream. Right, that's not yet been officially announced. That's only for people in the perks, YouTube perks. Hey, what's up, guys? Let me see if we can open up the Mentimeter, right? So for those who want to ask any questions, just go to menti.com, menti.com, and put in the code 146987. Let me, yeah, 146987, right? 146987, menti.com. I'm doing this directly from Zoom because this gives me less technical issues than OBS. But I guess the downside is you guys are going to be seeing my face most of the time until I start sharing my screen. Okay, first question, Sparkster update. I mean, Sparkster, guys, they're everywhere. To be honest, I don't know what all the ruckus is about. I haven't even kept tabs on Sparkster yet. Right? I came back from New York and Davos and BTC Miami. I didn't notice people were getting angry about something. I guess there was an AMA. I haven't had a chance to watch that AMA yet, but it seems the market is getting better, right? With the BTT and LTO. Let's see how the next couple of ICOs do that are listing in this market. If they do well as well, then maybe the bottom could be here, guys. Not financial advice, right? As usual, guys, typical disclaimer, I'm just sharing my personal opinion, right? Do your own research, consult a legal and financial advisor before investing in ICOs. ICOs could be deemed securities. Only invest what you're willing to lose. People seem to forget that, especially in the bear market, right? Only invest what you're willing to lose. Anyway, back to my main point. I mean, if the market seems to be getting better, then more projects will start to list, right? As you guys know, MetaHash announced that they'll be listing this month, right? So stay tuned on that one. Very, very excited, right? I was an investor in that. I went heavy. Also, I'm an advisor to that project as well. Then I also heard that Chromopolis is looking to possibly list in Q1, right? Although they haven't really been, like most projects, keeping investors up to date or keeping any timetables, so to speak, right? But hopefully that stays true to be true. But anyway, how much money do I have? Enough to live. That's how much money I have. When Lambo, Moon, sir? Hopefully soon, guys. Hopefully soon. Okay. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. Let's go into what I really want to cover. Right? This is what I really want to cover. Okay, sorry, excuse me. I have to log back in. So I signed up for this software that this firm goes out there and gathers as much data as possible on all the companies in the startup space, all the companies in the venture capital space, and all the companies in the private equity space. Okay, let me share my screen now, guys. So let's see. Okay, so this is called PitchBook. This is not cheap software by any means. This is what the professionals use. So this costs $25,000 a month. No, sorry, a year, right? Anyway, yeah, 25 grand a year. But they go out there and they basically vet information. They get as much information as possible on startups that have raised funding via venture capital, private equity. And so basically they're doing most of the data gathering for us. And this is what I'm using to go through and basically create a model, similar to how we did with ICOs, but a model for VC investing, right? So for example, if we look at this, right now what we're looking at, let me move this down here. Right now what we're looking at is this search I made, right? So we're looking at every company since 1990 that has basically completed an exit, right? A VC-backed company, meaning venture capital or angel investors backed this company, and it either got bought or it got sold, meaning there was an exit, right? As you guys see here, right? Incubator backed, angel backed, VC backed, private equity backed, right? Whatever. That's had an exit, meaning it's completed, and you can now basically measure it or rate it. And then I go through here, and we have all these different companies, guys, all this data, just troves and troves of data, so much information, right? I've been basically just going through this the last week or so, right? So for example, I'm sorting this data based on exits, right? Based on which company had the most amount of, what is that? Just give me a second here. It's kind of slow. Okay, so this is looking at last known valuation. But there was something else I wanted to sort by. This is the downside of doing everything live. But anyway, as you guys can see, right? Some well-known companies are on this list, right? So we have Tencent in China, VMware, Facebook, Tesla, Fox, PayPal, Red Hat, Broadcom, Nokia, Twitter, Spotify, LinkedIn, Google, WhatsApp, right? And all these are basically being backed. I mean, are being sorted. And the idea is I want to go through here and similar with token metrics, figure out, okay, looking at this list of the best companies based on those that had the biggest exit, right? Exit meaning they got sold or bought or had an IPO for billions and billions of dollars. What patterns does the data tell us? What do they have in common? So we have to go through and look at every single data point and find patterns in the data. So looking at the team, the advisors, the investors, the valuations, the sector category, right? So we have to basically gather data from all different parts of the internet and then really bring them together into this model and figure out, okay, which metric matters the most? This is basically data science, right? What metric matters the most? How much should we weight each particular metric? So hopefully you guys kind of get an idea of where I'm coming from, right? So for example, before we even look at this data, let's take a step back, right? Let me go to this spreadsheet. This is what I have, right? To kind of show you the logic to the madness, right? This is definitely subjective, not financial advice. I'm just thinking out loud basically with you guys, right? Because you guys are family. In the same way we really thought about token metrics. Hold on, let me just. Somebody's saying this needs machine learning. Yes, yeah, that's definitely a good idea. Okay, all right. So for example, looking at a study from CB Insights, which is a computing software with PitchBook, right? They basically did, let me pull this up here, right? They did a study, right? Basically post-mortem interviews with startups that failed. They had 101 startups, founders, and they asked them, hey, what made your company take the L? What made you fail? And based on their opinion, right, definitely subjective, they said 42% said their company had no market need, meaning that nobody really wanted to use this at all. Second biggest problem, they ran out of cash. Third biggest problem, wasn't the right team, wasn't an all-star team, basically, right? They got outcompeted, pricing cost issues, poor product, business model, marketing, customers, blah, 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 right? So what I'm looking to do is basically, let's take this example here, right? This may not be the final one. This is just an example. If we take this, we could really use this because this is at least initial data to start off with. We can then use this to say, okay, you know what? Let's give market the biggest weight in terms of evaluating a company, and then cash flow, and then team, and then all this, right? So, okay, if this is a possible model, right? How do we evaluate the market? how do we evaluate cash flow? Cash flow is basically just financials, right? So that should be pretty simple. If you just ask the company how profitable they are, right? If they're an actual business and they're making money, this should be pretty simple. The team, this is where it kind of gets more subjective. How do you really evaluate teams? So one way I'm thinking of doing that, similar to all-star teams, is by going to, we have two different paths, right? We can go to college rankings, but we want everything to be really data-driven and scientific, right? As much, we're definitely not here to be actual scientists per se, right? But it's good to leverage data as much as possible. So there's this study here from the World University Rankings, right? They go out there and they've ranked over 1,250 universities for 2019. And they basically rank them on different things, different criteria, right? So this is one way to really, let's say we're going through a team and want to measure or calculate how strong a team is. Let's say you want to look at their university history, right? What school did they go to? As you guys know, VCs have done the same thing. If you guys are following me on Telegram, I believe something similar happened, right? I've been posting all this stuff here on Telegram, right? So let me see. Okay, let's see here. Right, this is from some VC, right? And they're saying founders from top schools perform better. Looking at their data, this is first round, I think first round capital, right? So let's see here. In their portfolio, 38% of the companies had one founder that went on to an Ivy League school. Basically, they measured founders based on whether they went to Ivy League schools, Stanford or MIT, right? And they say that the study found that those companies performed about 220% better than other teams, meaning that going to an Ivy League school mattered in terms of investing in a company, in a startup. I mean, it's not the thing people want to hear, right? I'm not here to make people feel inferior per se, but when we're looking to invest and give people our money, I mean, we have to be picky, okay? Then the same thing, right? Looking at what tech companies they work for, what were the best predictors of success, right? So they first round capital found that teams with at least one founder coming out of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, or Twitter performed 160% better than other companies, right? So basically, go back to the same stuff. We kind of already knew this from token metrics, right? All-star team. But now when we're looking to equity investing, we're looking at both the company, right? All-star company, but also the college. Because for ICO investing, we didn't really look at college history. But I feel like for equity investing, we have to do that now, right? So, but the issue though is the rankings right now, this is more of academic and research and stuff like that, right? Because I guess the common opinion is that entrepreneurs who go to universities like Stanford are all-stars, right? As you see here, Stanford is third on this ranking, right? But not so much, I mean, Cambridge is good and so is Oxford, but in terms of actual entrepreneurship, Stanford is typically regarded as number one, right? Just in terms of how well they do, right? So I think in terms of the scores here they have, in my opinion, what really has had a good, let me see here. I think okay, hold on, sorry guys. There's so many schools here, right? I think I want to do it's showing me all these random schools. Okay, let's just stick to research for now. Right. So this is not really the best predictor in my opinion, but it's a start, right? It's better than nothing. Because the idea is to get as much data as possible and then kind of iterate on the data, right? So I think this is definitely a good start, be starting from nowhere, right? But a better predictor, in my opinion, isn't really what school is the best academically. I think what school, so here's a better question. What school makes more billionaires? So that's the other question I had, right? So turns out somebody has also done a study on this, right? So going to this, right? In my opinion, I think this list is actually better, right? So top schools that have created the most billionaires, meaning people have made the most money from going to the school. Harvard University, Columbia, Stanford, UPenn, Princeton, University of Michigan, MIT. So in my opinion, this list is actually a better indicator than the prior, because the prior is more about academic and research. But the companies here, I mean, not the companies, the colleges here in the top 5 are colleges that are known for being good for entrepreneurs, right? Harvard, Columbia, Stanford, UPenn, right? So in my opinion, I think this is a much better indicator. So this is one data point. Now the question is, how much do we weight this, right? If we go back to this model that we have, going based on this, right? Maybe the team matters 23%, right? But the question is, how many points do we give for each founder who goes to one of those schools, right? So let's say in terms of measuring colleges, we're looking at billionaires, right? What school is printing the most billion dollars, right? Which one pumps them out the most? So far, it's Harvard, then Columbia. Then the other thing is, okay, what companies are they working for? So before I had the notion that any entrepreneur who's working at a publicly traded company. But I think a better model when it comes to equity is probably not just any public traded company, but we want the creme de la creme, right? And one way to really look at that is looking at the S&P 500 for companies. This basically measures the biggest companies out there in the world, right? And based on market cap, right? So the top companies in the world, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook, right? So in my opinion, I think this basically, if any entrepreneur has gone to these companies, I think the data should show that they have a better chance for success, right? If somebody's gone to Amazon, Microsoft, right? Kind of like the same thing Forest Strong Capital was doing, but I'm expanding this to 500 companies, right? Because they had Twitter in here. Twitter is number 212, right? So I think this is a good start. And I think this can be applied to anybody on the team, from the entrepreneur to the investors to the advisors, right? So if we can kind of score them, let's say you have 3 people on a team, right? 3 founders, right? A CEO, a COO, and a CTO. And let's say one of them went to Harvard but dropped out. How do you score that? I think the fact that they get in is a good signal that this person is smart enough to get into Harvard, so they should get the point. This is kind of the same thing that Naval, the founder of AngelList, was talking about in a tweet, saying that VCs look for signals. So when somebody goes to an Ivy League school like Harvard and drops out, they still think it's smart because the fact it's hard to get in, because it's more about getting in than anything. Then let's say the other founder, the CTO, worked at Google, right? I think you also have to really differentiate the length of time, like we did with the ICOs. I think you have to differentiate how long they've been working there. I think, in my opinion, this is, I think, popular opinion as well, is typically recommended to work 2 years at a company, minimum. So I think that's probably a good criteria. Then same thing with advisors, right? The advisor or the investor, let's say they've also worked at a big company like at Google. I think that matters as well. But what I think matters probably even more than all of this, in terms of where you went and what company you worked for, did you win? Did you have a past exit? If somebody could come from the middle of nowhere school, work for some mom and pop shop, but if they sold that for $2 billion, that's a win. That person is an all-star, right? So I think that matters as well. Not just for the entrepreneurs, the founders, but in my opinion, also for the investors. If an investor is known for winning a lot and he backs a company, I think that matters a lot. And PitchBook also shows us that matters a lot as well, right? So if we go to these VC-backed companies, you see most of them had very famous investors like Sequoia, Kleiner Perkins, Y Combinator, right? All these people that had past exits. For example, one of the first investors in Facebook was somebody who had a past exit. right? You guys know Peter Thiel, right? PayPal Mafia. So all these different data points matter a lot, right? So yeah, guys, I'm doing a double today. The grind is real, right? Because this is really fascinating, though, right? So anyway, back to this. Okay, so this matters, but what else matters? Right? I think the industry in matters as well. Basically, the sentiment around the economy. So looking at the data, I got this on some stock performance site. Let me see if I have my sources here. Okay, I don't have, I think I got this from like barchart.com. But anyway, looking at just stocks, this lets us really invest based on a sector, right? Looking at their performance over 52 weeks, over the year to date, over the last month, 3 months, but also having a weighted average. I think, in my opinion, a weighted average, which factors and favors recent performance, is a better indicator. But looking at this, the best categories in terms of stocks that are doing well are security, medical devices, internet software, insurance, blah, blah, blah. But I think if it's not really about what category to invest in, but what category to avoid. I mean, some of them could be no-brainers, but based on this, it's saying oil and gas is not a good space to go into. Transportation, steel, basically old stuff, right? But this is just one data point, right? This could be totally different with something else. Just trying to show you guys where my head is at. Zilliqa Moon? I don't know. Okay, so we have the S&P 500, but I also think we should also look in terms of determining other stuff, right? Also how the Russell 2000 is doing. This is a small cap stock market index of 2,000 stocks, just to kind of get a sentiment. But anyway, okay, so going back to all this, right? What other data points can we get insights from? Business model and product, that's kind of more subjective. Marketing. Location matters a lot. So for example, let me see what I have here. So this is the Global Entrepreneur Index. This is basically covers location. This is a study being done that goes through and shows how easy is it to be an entrepreneur based on the country you're in. And not surprisingly, the US ranks the #1 on the study, then Switzerland, then Canada, then the UK. But I mean, this is kind of common sense to most, but definitely not here to offend anybody, right? But this says Chad is not the best place to be an entrepreneur. So if you're an investor, maybe you want to think or do more homework on a project or company investing in Chad, right? Even where I'm born in Uganda is at the bottom of the list, right? But I think if you pair that also with this other study, this is called the Doing Business Score, meaning how easy is it to do business in terms of paperwork, registration, credentials, taxes, all that stuff. So this study shows New Zealand as the easiest place to do business, Singapore, you hear the US is #9, but I think probably a combination of these two metrics is probably a good place to start in terms of creating a single data point that shows, okay, this company is in X location. Is this a good company to invest in? But once again, all these are just single data points. Okay, so what the heck am I thinking about now, right? So let's go into PitchBook. And this is why this software is really fascinating and why I paid so much money for it. So let's go into a pivot table. Let's say we're investors and we want to figure out what category should we invest in and make the most money. One moon, right? when it comes to equity investing, not tokens, equity investing. It could be into a blockchain company or it could be into something totally different, right? But let me go into a pivot table here. And this is what I've been playing around with today, right? So now, okay, so here right now, it's saved this data already for me. So I've gone here and I broke down all the results we had of the VC-backed exits by vertical. Then we have different columns here for deal, how much capital has been invested. Then the metric I really wanted to drill down on, because in PitchBook, they don't really have the ROI, or in terms of how much money a company made per se. They have it on the fund level. They have the ROI for funds. So it's been kind of tough to track. And then it's also kind of tough to track just based on other data points. But what I found to be a good start is the valuation over the revenue, in terms of how large is the valuation of a company compared to its actual revenue, how much money it's making. So, for example, if a company is only making $1 million, but they're valued at $100 million, that's a 100x valuation to revenue multiple, right? But if, let's say, a company is making $50 million a year annually, but the valuation is also 100 million, I mean, that's only a 2x multiple, meaning the other company has a larger valuation because people believe in it. Even though it's not making as much money, they believe in its growth, because in Silicon Valley and in the tech world, that's typically how companies are valued, from the Amazons or the Facebook, all these companies that didn't really make money initially, but people knew or expected it would make money down the line just based on how many users they had, how fast it was growing. So looking at this, right, and using a weighted average as opposed to a median, looking at this column here, the results are pretty fascinating, right? So for example, what categories have the largest valuation over revenue when it comes to weighted averages? So we see here, artificial intelligence and machine learning, 687 multiple. Okay, that's a good start. Autonomous cars, self-driving cars. Okay, interesting. That space definitely is heating up. We have big data here, 600x. We have esports is only a 5x. Okay, here, interesting. This says femtech, 20,000x. This is really interesting. Okay, this is female technology. That seems to be a hot space, but this is only a few companies or a few investment deals. So, because here the way they break it down is, this is by number of deals. So one company could have like 6 deals or 6 rounds of investment, right? So, I mean, the more deals and the more companies, the better the metric is, more reliable, in my opinion. But it's a good start, right? So let's see what else we have. Life sciences, 1500x. Manufacturing, okay, not sure why that's so high, but seems to have lots of deals, lots of companies there. Oncology, 2400x. SaaS, 385x. TMT. Okay, I know the category people have been talking about a lot is cannabis, 700x. I mean, that makes sense. I know lots of people who are doing private placements in cannabis companies that are about to IPO, and they've been getting ICO results, ICO type returns in the last 1 year. Actually, a friend of mine here in the private equity world who's been making bank doing that kind of investment strategy. So let's pick something and drill down into it. Something with lots. Let's do machine learning, for example, right? We can drill down into it and see more kinds of data available. Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, sorry, guys. I've been buried in this data. I haven't really been looking at the comments. But if you have any questions, definitely send them to me, right? Somebody please share the Mentimeter code. Chromopolis to the moon. I hope so. I hope so. Not financial advice, but I hope so. Okay, all right. Let's look at this here. So this, because so right now we're looking at the AI space, artificial intelligence and machine learning, looking at 122 companies, or 122 deals, excuse me, right? A company can have multiple deals and multiple rounds of investments. Now, they do try to get as much data as possible. It's tougher for companies that aren't public or didn't have an exit, because most of this information is private. So, but they do try to verify as much as possible. Okay, so this company raised $1.9 billion. Or actually was bought for $1.9 billion. Okay, it's Flatiron. Let's look into this. All right, so this is a private company. And the cool thing is they give us all the deal history here, right? So this company, this startup, this Series A, they raised $8 million for post-money valuation of $40 million. Then they got a grant here for 100 grand. Then so the valuation went from 40 million to about a year later, slightly over a year for the Series B, went from 40 million to 325 million. Right, that's pretty good, right? That's like a 8x return in 1 year. I mean, hey, I'll take that in a bear market. And they raised 130 million. Then 2 years later, they went to 1.1 billion valuation. Then they got bought, merger acquisition, for 2.1 billion. This is pretty fascinating stuff, guys. Really fascinating. And they have all this information here. This is the data lots of people miss, right? So actually, let's look at a crypto company, right? Just to kind of go off topic here, right? This is what I tweeted about, Bitmain, right? We can get information on Bitmain here. For those who don't know, Bitmain is a manufacturer of Bitcoin mining hardware. And what I was speaking to, I mean, they definitely didn't, the IPO was postponed, but in 2017, Series A round, they had a valuation of 100 million. 100 million, right? It was kind of a bull run, but it was before the December, January real bull run. Then about a year later, the valuation went to 12 billion. Then their IPO, although it was postponed, they were valuing the company at 45 billion. Now, before people tell me, hey, Bitmain is losing money, they're unprofitable. I mean, but the investors who got in here, I mean, they probably sold the top. I mean, because there are ways to take an exit. I mean, obviously here, they don't have any data of any investors exiting, but there are different ways you can exit, right? Because one of the things I learned in Davos is a friend of mine who does this for a living, is in the VC space, angel investor, who just launched a fund. He said, hey, when a company becomes a big win like this, like has a valuation of 100 million, you can go to the bank and get a loan on that equity. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you can use other people's money to then make money. And that just really blew my mind. He was basically using leverage, other people's money, whether a loan or whatever from the bank, on his equity. And this is definitely a more complex topic, right? It's kind of like playing with margin. It's not for everybody. You definitely have to have lots of money in the bank. But I mean, it was really an interesting strategy. It's really what you do with private equity. But anyway, what I'm trying to share here is these guys. So let's say you got into the Series A of Bitmain at a high valuation of 100 million, right? A 10x is 1 billion, and a 10x on that is 10 billion. So in 1 year, Bitmain did 100x. June 2018, when the market was tanking, right, starting to tank, I mean, they did 100x. I mean, I don't know any other token that did 100x in 2018. But equity investing, you can still have that 100x. Let's say you do that 100x, then you sell your shares to other investors on some sites like private placement or equity zen or whatever, or just to somebody else, right? Like an OTC deal, right? I mean, that's just really fascinating. But anyway, guys, let me pause, let you guys just kind of give me some questions. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and let's take some questions from the audience. Okay, give me a few minutes here. This feels like the old days when you're researching ICOs in early 2017. Really love how you're applying the same tactics here, sending you positive vibes. Yeah, thank you, Tanel. Yeah, absolutely, right? So we have to evolve. And I feel like this is really interesting way to, I mean, I'm not going anywhere, guys. I'm still going to be in crypto. but I'm expanding, right? Maybe I invest equity into a company that ends up getting or having an STO. And the reason I began thinking like this is security tokens, right? STOs give you really, I mean, STOs, for those who don't know, are tokenizing financial instruments, tokenizing securities, real assets, from real estate to stocks to even companies. So when the SEC says most ICOs are securities, I think that could cause lots of companies to start doing STOs or to start figuring out other alternatives, right? But if you want to invest into an STO and you're getting equity, right? Basically tokenizing your equity share, I feel like you have to know how to really evaluate the company from an equity investment standpoint, not just a tokenmetric standpoint, right? Because with tokenmetrics, in a way, we're just trying to quick flip, right? We're trying to ride the wave. But with security tokens, there are more legalities and regulations in terms of when you can sell, right? It's more of it's a longer hodl, basically. So when you invest, you have to be real sure. And you have to have a long-term mindset. Not so long-term, but I think a mindset where you're thinking more of maybe 1 year or a couple of years or 5 years or 7 years, right? Definitely not for everybody, right? This is definitely for what they call accredited investors or sophisticated or professional investors, basically rich people, right? Unfortunately, although there are different ways, but the company has to do all kinds of paperwork and stuff that makes it tougher to include everybody. But I mean, there are hopefully there are more options that come into the future. Okay, anyway, if I buy a real estate STO token, what laws are in place to make sure companies share proper revenue with STO token holders? Good question from Yo-Yo123. Good question. So, if it depends on the location, right? But if they're in the US, I mean, that's a legally binding agreement you're getting into, right? They could be in violation if they don't give you whatever you purchase, right? Because let's say you're buying real estate, right? Well, let's say you're tokenizing real estate. If you buy a fraction or a portion of real estate, I mean, you legally have rights now, right? You have shareholder rights, all kinds of rights that you typically would not have with an ICO token or a non-security token, right? So, I mean, I'll definitely speak to a lawyer regarding that, right? Which direction do you think we go in the next bull run? Same as last time, or crypto adoption grows strongest survive? Hey, what's up, Alpha Diallo? What's up? I mean, bull run, guys, it's hard to predict when the bull run is coming. People have been trying to predict it for a while. I mean, Pantera is saying bull run. I mean, so many funds and investors are saying bull run. I mean, even I was saying bull run last year. Then we all got wrecked. I mean, so I'm out of the business of trying to predict a bull run. I'm now in the business of trying to mitigate risk. And I feel like the best way to mitigate that is to plan for the worst. And what I'm doing is I'm planning for the worst. I'm assuming that, hey, we could not see a bull market until 2020 or even longer. I mean, I definitely don't hope that happens. I'm very optimistic. I hope something better happens. But if the worst happens, I want to be prepared for that. Right. So that means, I mean, minimizing expenses, doing better research, right? Figuring out ways to expand into other avenues, right? Like for me, equity investing, right? Because when you see people like other companies doing 100x in the valuation, even in a bear market, when it comes to equity, I'm like, maybe I should get a piece of that pie, right? So that's kind of my mindset. Okay, question from Mentimeter. Has Supo sold his Tesla yet? I mean, I don't think so. I mean, hey, he's the homie, man. He's the homie, right? Can we all just get along? Okay, I didn't answer the Sparkster question, what to expect. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I have to go and see what the updates are, right? But I mean, I think if the market gets better, then I think Sparkster should list, right? If we start seeing more wins with ICOs, then I think they should list, right? Bear market end and new plans. Yeah, I already answered this question from the YouTube comments. Opinion on Chainlink had 130% growth last month. Okay, I mean that's good. I mean, I was part of their ICO, the private sale, over 2 years back, I believe. I mean, but I got out after a while. I think I got out at like 5 or 6x or 10x, something like that. But I haven't looked back since then because the team didn't really do much marketing. So I mean, it's good to see that they're pumping now, right? But I mean, I made my money, right? So I moved on. I'm still thinking about showing my portfolio in the percentage, in percents. Yeah, I mean, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll post on my Instagram and my Snapchat, right, tonight or tomorrow. So just make sure you follow me, Diary of a Made Man, on Instagram and Snapchat. I am very active. I'm active almost every day. Probably the platforms I'm most active on, that and probably my Telegram channel. If you're not part of my channel, just go to ianbalina.com/mastermind and join. It's free, right? I do post my alerts. Now, I'll be posting some new alerts coming up as well. Hey, Solo TV in the house. What's good, man? How's San Diego? The money team. Okay, all right. So could you explain more about Firm? So Firm Network, I mean, Firm Network, they won. I mean, we had an AMA with them, guys. So although, I mean, I apologize that the connection wasn't the best, but please go back and watch the AMA. They did win the Crypto World Tour event we had in Lagos, Nigeria. So congratulations to them, right? They're basically building a blockchain that does lots of different things, right? It's kind of like an internet of blockchains in a way, kind of like Icon and Aeon, but they also have DEX and all kinds of other stuff. So that's what they do at a high level. Do I recommend any automated crypto trading bots? I've never used any, so I can't really recommend. But I do know that I believe our friend Pete, who we had the trading AMA with, he's launching a trading bot, I believe, right? With all things TA, his telephone channel. I think he's launching a bot, so maybe go check his out. One big announcement. Well, actually, yeah. Maybe we can drop this, right? Why not? Okay, so you saw me talk about, okay, we're doing all this spreadsheet, BC metrics for equity investing, right? You saw the stuff I'm doing here in PitchBook, right? One of the big announcements, actually, I've already told people who are part of my last Patreon and people who are part of my YouTube Perks program, right? But the big announcement is that I am opening my Patreon up again to really create it, because it was a great time, great community, right? When we were going through the spreadsheet. Sorry guys, let me just pull this up here. Just give me a minute. Yeah, but it was a great time when I was going through the spreadsheet, trying to figure out how to do what we were doing, and having that private mastermind, people we could bounce ideas off, and people who were committed, right? And lots of people made money, even outperformed the market, and we really built a community, a global community of people. Now that I'm doing the same thing with equity investing, I kind of want to have the same group of people doing the same thing, but for venture capital and angel investing for equity. All right, so I'm going to be opening it up. I'm calling it 100x Mastermind, 100x Private Mastermind. Right now, I've given priority to people who were part of my old Patreon and people who are part of my YouTube Perks program, so they'll have first priority. I'm only taking 50 people to sign up, right? We may have less, we may have more, depending on the market and how many people have interest, right? I do know the market is rough, right? So I know not everybody can probably afford it like last time, right? Last time we actually started before the bull market, right? Because I launched it in September 2017. And then when the bull market came, that's when people began really making money. And I mean, I loved it because, I mean, it's pretty easy to say that people who are in the highest tier, they had like about 10, 15 people in there. I would say 10 people in there, right? The top tier, right? Or the most expensive tier, the one-on-one calls tier. I mean, everybody in that group became a millionaire. And that's just pretty mind-boggling that, I mean, lots of people made money, like life-changing money. And the best thing was hearing the stories about, hey, I just quit my job now, right? I can now go full time into crypto or spend more time with my mom, right? One of the persons in the group was able to spend more time with her grandma, right? Because thanks to the investments we had, right? The Wabbies, the Icon, the Dragon Chains, right, all those investments, or somebody else was able to pay off $500,000 on their mortgage, right? In just 1 year, thanks to the investments we're making. So I think that's the biggest impact that had to me, and I kind of want to bring that back again. Now, I guess the disclaimer is, let me just give me a minute. I want to pull up something to show you guys here. This is giving me a hard time on this. Okay, all right. So I'm launching the Patreon of the Private Mastermind, but I'm also launching something. Okay, sorry, just got a text. Do you guys see my screen? I'm also launching a syndicate on AngelList. Yes, AngelList, right? So, I mean, people keep asking, hey, Ian, we want to invest with you. We want to go to the moon with you together. Well, one of the good things about AngelList is we can do that, right? This is, for those who don't know, AngelList is a platform where you can create syndicates to invest in companies for equity, right? So we've officially launched a syndicate on AngelList for anybody who ends up joining my private mastermind. So any equity deals we get where the company lets us syndicate that, anybody who's part of my syndicate, part of my private mastermind, can co-invest with us, right? Here you can see we have a few things up on the team that what we do, right? So this is basically like a VC fund, right? We'll be investing using our strategy of using a data-driven approach once we kind of figure this out and share this with our team and also people who end up being part of the syndicate, right? But I think it's going to be good to really work together, kind of the same mode where we worked with Tokenmetrics and figured it out. And I mean, most of us went to the moon, right? Assuming you got in early, assuming you took profits consistently, I mean, you should be better off than you were when you got in, right? So I want to do the same thing with equity investing. The downside though is this is not for everyone, right? You have to pass the investor accreditation thing on AngelList, meaning that you have to verify that you've made more than 200 grand 2 years in a row and your net worth is over $1 million. Unfortunately, that's what the SEC requires you to invest in a syndicate on this platform for equity, right? So I know not everybody can be part of it, but I think this is really the best option we have right now today, right? So I definitely recommend, if you have any interest in this, right? For now, if you're part of my last Patreon, just go in the Telegram group and click the link to apply. Or if you are part of my YouTube Perks program on here, right? In the community section for members, I've already posted the link to apply. Based off of that, then I may be opening this up a few days later to everybody else who wants to apply, right? And preference will be given to those people who I've met on the Crypto World Tour in person, right? But yeah, that's the big announcement, right? I'm excited for this. Oh, speaking of that, I'm also working on a video you guys saw on my Instagram and Snapchat on security tokens, right? Similar to my ICO video, I'll be doing a video on security tokens. I've been doing an outline, all kinds of things, right? And with our team. So that will be coming out soon. This is going to be really in-depth. We've been doing lots and lots of research on STOs, security tokens, how to really present this in a good manner. And I hope you guys like it, right? The same way the ICO video really explained ICOs to everybody where everybody could get it. And in a way, Brad, I mean, I don't want to say that video was responsible for the ICO bull run, but I mean, it was partly responsible. I mean, it got over 300,000 views, right? So I'm doing a similar video for STO, security tokens, investing for equity, basically, tokenizing equity investments, right? So hopefully it should be ready, I think, within a month or so, right? Definitely nothing committed yet. I'm still in the process of doing everything. I want to make sure the video is perfect and make sure, because I think it's not just about giving people information. I think the reason the ICO video did so well is being able to explain something in a manner anybody can understand, right? Anybody can come out here and try to do a video and sound like they're a professor, right? But I think the best way to really win people over isn't through exclusion. And I think lots of people who like to sound smart, but what they don't realize is they're excluding people from their communication and their knowledge. And I think the best way to really educate somebody is through inclusion, to include them. And this is actually more of a marketing or a sales tactic, right? For those who don't know, I work in sales at IBM as a sales executive. But when you're speaking to somebody, you want to, in a way, dumb down your language, for lack of a better word, right? You want to dumb down your language, and you want to bring it down to a 5th grade speaking and comprehension level, meaning that if what you're teaching is so complex, or your vocabulary is so complex that a 5th grader won't understand, then you're excluding lots of people from getting your message. So if you want to have this is good advice to anybody who's doing anything, whether you're an entrepreneur, investor, at work, or whatever. If you want somebody to get your message, you have to bring it down to a 5th grade level. If you're speaking at a PhD level, you're excluding everybody who's not a PhD. And right, because if your job is to communicate your message, you want to make sure as many people as possible understand your message. I mean, this is why Trump won. I mean, people laugh, but he dumbed down his message, and people thought he was doing it just because it's dumb, or I mean, not to get political, right? But have you ever wondered about somebody and you're like, how does this person do what he does, right? Or people say, how is Ian Balina so influential? Because I mean, I'm not trying to exclude people from understanding my message. I'm trying to include as many people as possible. So I try to explain things in as simple of a manner as possible. One other tactic is try to explain something without having somebody pull out a dictionary, right? You want to really make something so simple, because if you have to use words that people have to go look up, your message flies over their head, right? But anyway, that's kind of off. Okay, what's up, guys? How you doing? Let's take some questions. You're an AngelList. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's see here. You're getting into machine learning. What's up, Blockchain Brazil? Welcome to the party. Glad to have you here. Okay, let me just take a few questions. Just give me a few minutes so you guys. So the Mentimeter code to submit your question is 146987, 146987. That's menti.com. Send your questions there. Why are you not into Forex, fiat trading, like BitMEX with leverage? I mean, I've tried that in the past. Not my forte. We do have a trader who's going to be actually Pete from All Things TI. He's kind of working with us with trading, right? But I haven't. I mean, I guess for me, I just love the perspective of long-term, not mid-term to long-term investing. I mean, I have done fiat trading in the past, right? And it's definitely good, right? But then I found crypto, right? And now for me, I really like investing in entrepreneurs and startups. So, I mean, since I was an entrepreneur and I'm still an entrepreneur, right? So I think that's kind of the passion I have, right? I like startups, right? So that's kind of why I do what I do. Okay, let me just go to the other platforms. Thoughts on Phantom? I haven't really been looking at crypto, guys. Okay, I mean, as you see, I've been looking at more equity investing, and I've just been waiting because most of my capital has been tied up, right? In Sparkster, Chromopolis, MetaHash, Resistance, right? Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Dude Signals? You just joined. Am I interested in BitTorrent? I mean, I didn't invest, but I was looking at it. It did do well, surprisingly, right? Looking forward to see how the next ICO listed on Binance, when they have their initial exchange offering, Fetch.ai, to see how well that does. Do you own XRP? No, I do not. I mean, I made money on XRP. That was my first 10x ever in crypto, so I can't complain about XRP, but I got out a long time ago. Hey, what's up, B Chow? Thanks for the comment. You saying, dude, he helped me make a lot of money. Hey, that's good to hear. That's great to hear, guys. San Diego was dope. Let me know when you're ready for me to visit you, bro. Hey, man, I'm ready. I'm ready. Just hit me up down here in Miami, right? Escaping the winter. Is the album still coming out this year? Good question. The crypto album we've made, it's ready. 18 tracks. We're waiting for a better market. I mean, because just from a marketing standpoint, it makes no sense to put out a album about going to the moon in a bear market when people feel wrecked, right? So we first want to make sure people feel better, right? So the message can go farther, if that makes sense, right? But we have been giving out previews of the album on the live streams, right? In the intros here and there. But I mean, our album came out amazing. The quality is high, is super high. We have a producer, a 2-time Grammy-nominated producer who made the album. This is the same guy who made songs for the Migos and all these big names, 21 Savage. I mean, who's actually British now? I mean, anything's possible. Alpha Diallo, hey, what's up? Do I recognize you from Instagram? I don't know. Please post on Twitter too. I mean, I'm posting on YouTube and Telegram alerts, and if you're on my email list, then you'll be getting my alerts. Okay. All right, guys. Anything else you guys want to cover? Please let me know. Please let me know. Oh, your friend Patrick's met you in Miami last week. Oh, yeah, he's the homie. He's the homie. I mean, the guy's buff. Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, we're hanging out with him after BTC Miami. Yeah, guys, 2 chats in a day. I mean, it's good. Yo-Yo123, do you think Ether will be the #1 platform for STO token creation? I mean, right now, yes, Ether has the market share in terms of creating tokens, right, over any other blockchain. So, I mean, it has the head start. Then you have Polymath, who they had an ICO last year, I believe. They're a platform for issuing STOs, and then there are lots of other people trying to do the same thing. But I mean, Ether has the head start. Releasing an album in bear market is not a good investment for sure. Yeah, I agree. Riff, oh man, yeah, RSK, yeah, guys, I'm sorry about that. I mean, RSK took the L on that one. I mean, I think it could be on purpose, right? What I hear is RSK Rootstock is trying to shake out the weekends before they really start putting out any announcements or any news or updates or anything, right? Or even market makers or whatever. I mean, who knows, right? But yeah, I think right now to me it's a forced hodl. I'm gonna have to hodl that for the long term, right? It's down like 50%, even when I timed it perfectly, right? That's when I was like, you know what? Time to chill for a bit. 808 Mafia, yeah. So the producer for the album is Perps, who's with 808 Mafia. So if you ever heard a song on Spotify or whatever and hear the ad lib 808 Mafia, well, they made our album, so you know it's legit. Am I bullish on Firm Network? No, I'm not. I didn't invest. I passed on it. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions on. Are you considering doing something for the people that cannot join your private groups? All of us want to go to the moon. Yeah, I mean, yes, I am trying, right? So I'm doing these AMAs, right? These YouTube AMAs. I'll be doing a lot more, similar to what I was doing with the spreadsheet. And they'll be free, right? We'll be going here for an hour or 2 hours or whatever. I have the Telegram channel and group. I'm also launching my. Actually, yeah, guys, I haven't showed you guys this, right? Let me pull this up. The spreadsheet, right? Can't believe I didn't share this. For those who were in my alerts channel, right? I did share this, but let me share this on YouTube, right? If I can find my mouse here. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so this is the alpha version of the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is coming back. When I took down the spreadsheet, it was getting viewed more than 1 million times a month. I took it, I surprisingly, I timed it perfectly. I took it down at the peak of the bull run, right? At the top of the top. I took it down in January 2018. And that was because, I mean, I was getting just too many things from people complaining about the spreadsheet or whatever. And I just couldn't keep up with it. I was moving the market way too much. I was too influential, right? And I guess it makes sense because that was the peak of the bull run. But I've always thought about bringing it back. I mean, I've always planned to bring it back, right? Because in its past form as a spreadsheet, as a Google Sheets, it couldn't really scale, right? I mean, to a point where it would break. Right? Then people would complain and say, "Hey, when moon?" or "Where's moon?" Right? So I knew I had to make that an application. And I said, okay, so I hired a developer and a designer, right? Shout out to the designers and the team and everybody who's been helping me with this. Right? This is a screenshot of the alpha version, right? So whatever the spreadsheet did in an app form, and the idea is, yes, we'll be tokenizing this, right? Because I mean, we're in the blockchain space, but there is no ICO. This is going to be an airdrop, a token airdrop only to my community. And this, I'm planning to make this the biggest airdrop in history. I mean, so whatever airdrop was bigger before, we're gonna beat that. We're gonna squash that. This will be the biggest airdrop in history. I mean, I'm planning to give you an idea. I'm basically going to be giving away, not to be confirmed or to be finalized, right? About $25 to $35 million worth of tokens, right? Basically to my community, to only my community, only those people who believe, right? If you're a hater or whatever, I mean, like, why give you free money, right? We'll let you stay in your camp. But those people who've been here just as a way to show appreciation and support, right? I'll give out an airdrop token, right? Then the token will be used to access the app, right? So the idea is you hodl the token and you can access the app. Right? There'll be other stuff to use the token for, right? So if you want to submit a project for list to be reviewed, you can do it with a token or whatever, right? But the main thing is I want to launch the app and then give out the token, right? I'm not doing an ICO because I'm not trying to make money from the ICO. And I just wanted to bring this back again because this was a beautiful thing, right? And the designer has done a great job on this. The idea is this won't just be for ICO tokens. This will be for all tokens on all exchanges. So being able to look at token trading, right? For example, should you invest in this ICO coming out in 2 weeks, or should you buy this token already trading on exchanges? Should you get, for example, should you get into Fetch.ai, or should you get into BTT or LTO or RSK, RIF, or Binance or whatever, right? Should you buy this token? So the idea is if we do tokenomics on all tokens across all exchanges and the ICOs, we can then really look at all of them and say, okay, maybe this token trading on an exchange is more undervalued than this ICO coming out. So as opposed to investing in this ICO, let's invest in this token already on exchanges. So that's kind of the idea, right? So it's kind of like the coin market cap, but for token metrics, for all tokens, not just ICOs anymore. Then as we evolve, we also want to start adding STOs, right? And I think it's going to be amazing, right? It's definitely still a work in progress, but I mean, so that the app, people who have the token will be able to access the app, right? And the idea is, as opposed to paying a monthly fee or whatever, you just hodl the token, right? Kind of like, hey, if you have like, let's say, to be confirmed, right? Let's say 1,000 tokens each, as opposed to paying 1,000 tokens each month, you just hodl 1,000 tokens each month, right? So the idea is I'll be giving people a bit free access for, depending on how many tokens you get, right? Which has to be determined. People in my Patreon will get priority in terms of getting more tokens just to show support for them for supporting me, right? But if you're on my email list or my alerts channel or whatever, you will be getting an email when this is ready. I'll also be putting up a landing page for people to sign up just to make sure you don't miss this, right? But it's basically free money, not financial advice. Right? I have signed up for the SEC already, right? So it should be good. But yeah, guys, this is what I've been up to. Yeah, so it sounds like a great upgrade. Yeah, guys, I'm very excited, right? This is really gonna take it up a notch, right? And I mean, you guys know that Spreadsheet did wonders. It's really built a community, right? And I mean, I open sourced it. Lots of people made their own version of the spreadsheet, but it is going to be hard to make your own version of the app. I mean, not impossible, but I mean, it's really taking it up a whole new level, right? And I think that's what we have to do, right? So that's kind of what I'm working on, right? Once again, planning to make this the biggest airdrop in history, right? I mean, so I'm definitely trying to look out for my community, right, to show support, right, to take all of us to the moon together. All right. Add some machine learning. Yes, yeah. So that's definitely something we can start doing. Right now that we have an app, right, we can start adding machine learning, right? Because it was tough to do that, right? Especially the stuff I'm doing with the VC, right? The idea is once I've done this with tokens, to then also maybe even create like a tab or a section for like equity investing. So this could really become like the Moody or the Morningstar for the blockchain space. So yeah, this is why I've been busy, guys. This is why I haven't been doing as many AMAs. Right, I've been scheming and working hard. Your newest coins of PinDX, Funfair, and Icon. Thoughts, please. I invested in all of them during the ICOs, surprisingly. Did well, can't complain. I mean, PinDX made me lots of money in 2018. I mean, that was one of my best investments. That was actually my best investment in 2018, right? So I can't complain about that. Hey, what's up, new member? Welcome. Let me see what else I want to cover. PinDX diluted the project. They did. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been taking profits on PinDX consistently. I mean, I still have some tokens left, right, especially with their monthly airdrop, but it's no longer my biggest holding. Okay, one thing I do want to cover as well, right? So for those who missed my alerts channel, the hype cycle for emerging technology. This is from Gartner, right? This is an analyst research group that does different studies. And if you notice, looking at this, in terms of hype cycles, in terms of bubbles, right? Looking at the blockchain bubble here, right? So they say the plateau will be reached in 5 to 10 years. Okay, I mean, that's good, right? So according to them, there's still room for growth. But I mean, the first bubble, let me see, hold on. So okay, let's start here at the bottom, right? So this is the innovation trigger. This is when innovation is starting. And then we have the peak of inflated expectations. This is like when the hype, the FOMO is ahead of the technology, basically. And blockchain was basically here in December in 2017 and January 2018. And now we're kind of going back down here. And according to this, right, then we go down here, right, in the trove of disillusionment. I mean, I feel like we've kind of been, this was done in August 2018, right? So now we're in 2019. So we're definitely a lot further down here, right? So we're somewhere here, right? Somewhere here. Then I have to go back up again. Yeah, and according to them, the plateau, right? The plateau of productivity is 5 to 10 years. So I mean, we still have a long way to go. But I think this is really good because a friend of mine was saying, hey, like there are people out there who make money as a living from writing bubbles, writing hypes, right? The people that were writing the hype with blockchain, and crypto, with cannabis, with AR, with machine learning, whatever. And I think, I mean, if you want to be in that business, I mean, this is a good place to start, right? Maybe because looking at this, there's still some upcoming waves. Looking here at quantum computing and seeing smart robots, deep neural network, ASICs, and anyway, I mean, smart workspaces. I mean, actually, one of the founders of, former founder of Uber, Travis Kalanick, is launching a new company in the food space that's doing something with workspaces or like pop-up workspaces, something like that for the food. I mean, so maybe he knows what's going on. Okay. Okay, let me take some questions, guys. Let me stop this share. Ian, you can become the Ray Dalio of crypto. I mean, hey, thank you. I mean, we can all become the Ray Dalio of crypto, right? Let's all become like him. What's up, Stefano? Will you invest into any of these now? Preflogic, Spice, LV on Smartlands, and Bancor. If you're talking about equity, I mean, I'm exploring, right? I'm basically trying to create a model for investing in equity companies. And once I have that, then I'll start doing that. Thoughts on Solve Care, launching an IPO equity round in 18-24 months. So they're announcing a partnership with Uber and Lyft in a few weeks. Solve Care, that's the health company, right? The healthcare company. If that's the one, they had an ICO a while back that I passed on. I'm surprised they're doing an IPO equity round. I mean, that means that's pretty good. The question is, what exchange are they doing it on? What market? Better off buying BTC and Ether. Those two coins will be integrated into everything. Possibly. I mean, I'm not sure what you're referencing to, but yes. Okay, next question from Mentimeter here. I enjoyed your advice website article on creating multiple income streams and wealth mindset. If you were starting from scratch right now, what sort of strategy would you use to build wealth? Good question, good question. So if I was starting from scratch, how would I make my money? Okay, so assuming you're straight out of college, right? You get your first job. Or let's say you don't even have a job. How do you get a job? This is how you get a job, right? You have to this is how, I guess it depends on your qualifications as well, right? You kind of got to preface everything. So you have to first do well in school. But let's say you graduate from a mediocre college, right? How do you get a good job? The first thing I would do is I would research what companies I want to work for. Or actually, I would research what space, right? I mean, because what I do is I follow the money. Right? Go back to writing hypes, right? And bubbles, I follow the money. If you follow the money and you take action and move quickly and you're nimble, money will find you, right? What do I mean by that? So if you're out of college and you're trying to make money, I'll probably just go on Google and see, I'll look at the data, right? What fields are making the most money, right? In terms of whatever you got a degree in, right? Let's say you got a degree in political science, right? But you say, you know what? There's no money in there, right? Because what you get a degree in doesn't really stop you from getting other jobs. What jobs want is just to say that, hey, you finished college. So let's say you say, okay, you know what? These are the top 5 industries that are making money, right? Going back to let's go back. Sorry, I'm gonna have to pull this up again, right? But that's actually a good question, guys. So as you can tell, I love to talk about stuff like this, right? Let's go to this, right? So looking at this, right? There are definitely lots of other lists. Top 5 industries in terms of performance, right? Security, medical services, internet software, insurance brokers, and medical information. So I would say, you know what? I'm going to work in these industries. This is where the money is. Then, so we have 5 industries. I would go on Google and find 5 companies in each industry. That's 25 companies, right? 25 companies in this space, and I would apply for a job there, right? But I wouldn't just apply there, right? I would see if I'll try to find somebody who worked there and try to meet them in person or get referred there, right? And the best way to really talk about that is how I got a job at Deloitte, right? First time I applied online, I got rejected, right? I was qualified, got rejected. The job was as an analyst. Then I said, okay, you know what? Let me try again. But let me do it in a smarter way. So I called him my buddy I went to college with, right? I was like, hey, dude, I see you working at Deloitte. can you help refer me to Deloitte? Is that is like, yeah, cool, no problem. And I said, hey, you know what? Actually, I applied to a week ago, and they turned me down. He's like, oh, I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I don't think I want to vouch for you again, because he's like, I just got here. You know, if they turned you down already, not sure if they're gonna hire you. Well, he didn't tell me that. He just didn't reply. All right, after I told him that. But I was like, you know what? Who cares? I won't give up. I go on LinkedIn. I type in first degree connections and I search Deloitte. And I see, oh, wow, some random guy, well, not random, yeah, well, kind of random, an acquaintance, somebody I met at a networking happy hour 2 years ago. And actually, to be real with you, like, he was my wingman. Like, we're at some happy hour, like, I was trying to talk to some girl, and I said, hey, can you help me? Okay, because there were like 2 or 3 girls, right? So me and this guy, we're going to talk to these girls, right? Then we just ended up we didn't really connect. We just exchanged cards just to be nice about it. Right? But I was smart enough to add him on LinkedIn, right? I added him on LinkedIn. 2 years later, I see he's working at Deloitte, right? And when I met him, he wasn't working at Deloitte. He was working somewhere else, right? But he ended up getting a job at Deloitte. So I pinged him on LinkedIn. Hey, what's up, dude? How's it going? I see you working at Deloitte. I'm thinking about applying there. Can you help me out? Or can you tell me? Well, I didn't ask him directly, right? So actually, yeah, don't ask people directly, right? Find out who works there and just say, hey, I'm thinking about applying there. I would like to learn more about the company and see if it's a good fit for me, right? I did that. He's like, hey, cool, no worries, man. Hey, yeah, so I'll help you. It's a good company. I'll help put in a good word for you. If you plan to apply there, let me know, and I'll put in a referral for you. So he did that. But the good thing was he knew where to apply and where not to apply. He did the work for me. So I just gave him my resume. He looked at my resume and said, okay, you know what? I don't think you'll be a good fit for this department, but this department over here, I think you're a better fit for, right? So he ends up putting in my application. 2 weeks later, I got the job. Not the same job, but a more senior job, right? Because initially I got turned down as an analyst and I got in as a consultant or senior consultant, something like that, right? But I was like, how does that even work? Because who you know matters. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be a friend. It could just be an acquaintance. In my case, it was somebody who was my wingman at some networking thing, right? But he got me a job at Deloitte. That was my first job, earning 85 grand, right? Then from there, you want to increase your income, minimize your expenses. What do I mean by that, right? I mean, this is basically like you want to make as much money as possible, right? You have to think of this as you have to have a good offense and a good defense, right? What people think is you can't just have defense. You can't just minimize your expenses. You also got to try to make income. So you got to hustle, man. When I was hustling, man, I was doing all kinds of things. I mean, I was hustling like I was broke. I mean, I would do Airbnb business. I mean, that's still pretty profitable today. So this is when I went to IBM. So I would travel for IBM. I had a place. This is after I left Deloitte after like 2 months. Long story, right? But I didn't like it there. So I jumped ship to IBM. Got a job there. I got that by applying online. But that's neither here nor there. Once I joined IBM, I was making 6 figures, but this could be anybody doing anything, right? The question is, how bad do you want money? How bad do you want to change your life? So what I did is I got a 4-bedroom place. It was pretty expensive, like $2,600 a month. But I mean, I was making good money. And as I lived there, I would rent out the other rooms on Airbnb, right? And my parents were like, Ian, why would you do that? And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to minimize my expenses. I'm trying to make this money. I was doing that, but the money in the rooms wasn't that good, right? In terms of renting out individual rooms, because people who are renting out rooms, for lack of a better word, are cheap, right? So you can't really jack up the price. Otherwise, they'd be like, I'll just get an entire place. So the real money was in renting out my entire house, right? So what I did is I put up my house on Airbnb, the house I was living in. When somebody booked it, guess what? I was charging like 350, 400 a night, anywhere between 3 to 400 or 450 a night for the house, 4-bedroom house. And for people who are traveling in groups, that was still compared to a hotel, right? If a hotel is like, what, in DC, 250, 150, 200, $300 a night. If you can get a place for $300 a night that's 4-bedroom, I mean, that's a steal. Well, I was in DC, I was like 20 minutes outside of DC, but same thing. So somebody would book the place for, let's say, 5 days, paying me $300 a night. That's $1,500 in 5 days. What I did is I'd have them stay there. I'd go live with my parents for 5 days. I mean, that's how bad I wanted it, right? I mean, it came to a point where there are some months I would have my place on Airbnb booked for like 20 days in a month, where I'm barely staying in my place. At one point, like, I didn't stay in my place for almost a month, but I made bank. Right? I made like 2x my initial rent, my house, my monthly rent. Right. So I would say on average, I mean, I was breaking even, or at worst, right? I was breaking even or making more. Right. I'd make anywhere between, yeah. So if my rent was $2,600, I'd make like maybe $300 to $4,500 a month. Right. So I was actually getting paid to live there, basically, even though I didn't live there most of the time when I was. But for me, it worked out because I also got a job where I traveled a lot, so it made things even better, right? Because then I would go to travel somewhere for work for like 3 or 4 days. As I'm staying in a hotel with IBM, somebody else is staying in my place, and I'm getting paid for that, right? So that's how I would increase my income. Then I also would try out other different ventures. I dabbled in, I was doing Amazon FBA, Amazon on Amazon, and I'd import items from China. Basically, I would import batteries, I would private label them, and I would put them on Amazon. I basically had my own brand. And it took me like $1 or $2 grand to really start. I mean, the samples cost about $200, right? I ordered samples from China, saw the samples, said, okay, you know what? Let me do it. Why not? YOLO. Put in me and Ugo, my business partner, right? Me and Ugo were doing the Airbnb hustle, the Amazon hustle before all this. We're doing that, put in $2 grand, I put in $1 grand, he put in $1 grand, right? So if you don't have the money, get partners, get people to do this with you. So me and Ugo put up $1 grand, bought it in bulk, the items from China. We bought the batteries for, oh God, I mean like 25 cents, maybe even less. This was like a pack of 6, like those batteries for like your watch, right? Those like CR2032 batteries. This was like $25 a battery. Like let's say I bought them for like $1, right? Let's say I could sell them on Amazon for like $6. I mean, I sold them at, depending on how well the market was, I sold them as high as $12. Right? Obviously, Amazon takes fees and then shipping and all that stuff, right? But I mean, I was basically making like a 2x. Like let's say I put in $2 grand in batteries, I could make like 4 grand, 6 grand, depending on everything, right? Then I had software that would automate everything for me. I mean, it came to a point where I didn't even see the batteries. I mean, I didn't even see what I was selling to people because I had it on autopilot. At one point, I ordered like 4 or 5 grand worth of batteries from China, and they shipped them straight to Amazon's warehouse. And I never even saw them, right? Then eventually my supplier got sloppy. He noticed that I didn't really check the batteries, so he began sending me defective batteries, and I began getting bad reviews. Then I was like, you know what? This supply sucks, whatever, let me find a new one. But I mean, that hustle was working as well, right? So I mean, going back to your question, how would I build wealth? I would do it like that. I even have, I mean, Ugo, for example, Ugo would drive on Uber and Lyft, and he was doing Amazon, and he was doing Airbnb. I mean, we were hustling to make the money, right? I mean, I recall a funny story. Ugo was, he was driving Uber and Lyft for a while, got tired of it, I think like a year, maybe even longer. And then eventually, once we got into crypto, it's like, hey, you know what? Oh, this crypto thing is taking off. So he sold his car. He sold his Jeep, and I think they paid him like 15 or 20 grand, and he put all that into crypto. I think he put all that into Icon. But yeah, it was a good investment. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is that's the mindset you gotta have. Like, you gotta hustle, right? And you have to, like, nothing can be beneath you, right? Because lots of people say, hey, you know what, I would never do that, right? But the thing is, I mean, that's why some people still aren't achieving their dreams financially. Like, you have to have, I mean, for example, like, I mean, I have friends who are looking at me funny saying, hey, you have random strangers staying in your house, right? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm getting 2x. Right? So, or hey, you're driving for Uber or Lyft, but yeah, but I'm paying up this car, right? So, I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, right? But all that hustling got me to where I am today. Yeah, that was a good question. Thank you for that. Nate says, I had 2 private label businesses that I sold for high 6 figures each. That's awesome, man. That's amazing. Okay. Have I invested in Next Nash Exchange? It's looking strong for long-term and big future. No, I haven't. But I keep hearing about that. I saw lots of people were talking about that on Twitter. I wasn't sure whether they're being paid to tell me to look into that. But I haven't looked into it. Nash Exchange? Okay, I mean, I think, because I was talking about security tokens and somebody brought that up. But I don't think they do security tokens. But I'll look into that one. Yeah, thanks, Barry. Yeah, guys, hit the like buttons if you like the video, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Twitch, even the podcast, guys. Yes, don't forget, I have a podcast if you want to listen to this on the go. Just go to ianbalina.com, click the podcast on the website. We're on Spotify, Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, Google, everywhere, right? Okay, thoughts on MetaHash? Yeah, I mean, the market is getting better, so I'm very optimistic. I think MetaHash is, I mean, I have good expectations. Obviously, I'm an investor and an advisor, so I'm biased, so definitely do your own research. But I mean, if the market seems to be getting better with LTO and BTT, MetaHash is going to be listing this month, right, as they announced. So, I mean, looking forward to good things, right? I mean, we definitely put in our work, right? We've been working hard at MetaHash, right? Getting the right partnerships, right? Getting the right service providers. So, I mean, I went heavy. I mean, I put in, I mean, when I advise, I don't just get tokens. I also invest my own capital, right? I put in like 80 grand at the time. I have to find out what the price of ETH was, but it was a good portion. I mean, I have like 100 grand or so riding on that of my own money. So, I mean, I believe, I believe a lot. Okay, next question. Thoughts on Fetch.ai Binance sale? I mean, I think I passed on them a long time ago. That's why I was surprised that they're still doing their ICO, right? I mean, this isn't the first time they're, I mean, this isn't the first time they're doing this, right? But I mean, I don't plan to invest. I'll be on the sidelines. If that pumps, then I mean, I think the bull market maybe is, well, not the bull market, but the bear market could be over. The ICO bubble could be back, right? Because I mean, last time I checked, I don't think that deserved to pump Fetch.ai, right? I don't think anything was different, but I mean, that was over a year ago, maybe, right? I have to go back and look at it. But yeah, this, but it is one to watch. I think it's going to be a litmus test on the market. If that's pumping, oh man, I mean, you'll see so many people coming back from the sidelines, myself included, right? So yeah, stay tuned. Please go offline. I want to go to sleep. Much love, bro. Yeah, I'll be going to sleep too soon. Well, not soon, but I have to do some other stuff. But hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I mean, definitely smash the like buttons, right? It's been a pleasure. Can Chromopolis replace Ethereum if it takes off? I mean, Chromopolis, I mean, I don't, not right now. That's the better answer in my opinion. And anything is possible, but I mean, if they do what they claim to do, I mean, it's definitely a good start. I mean, because those guys are OGs. But I think they've kind of been waiting too long, right? And they need to ramp up their marketing. But they have been doing it the last few months. So I mean, that is good. Please look into Sovereign again. Moon landing. Yeah. Okay, I will. Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right. All right, guys. That says all the questions are answered. Anything else you guys want to cover? What's my favorite car? I mean, I want to get a Ferrari 488. I mean, I love red. Surprisingly, I like Ferraris more than Lambos, even though I keep saying more Lambo. But that's just a crypto thing, right? Lambos, I feel like a Ferrari is a better car to drive than a Lambo. I also like the Rolls Royce, the Wraith, the Ghost, right? Hey, Jo, good to see you again as well. Lambo's better. When will you come to Brazil, brother? Not sure yet, but I definitely, places I still have to go to. I have to go back to Brazil because I didn't go there on the world tour, right? Brazil, Toronto, Canada. I'm sorry, Canada. I missed you guys on the world tour. Mexico as well. I missed you guys on the world tour. I definitely have to go there, right? Mexico, yeah, Mexico and Toronto, Montreal too, right? I want to go to Montreal, right? I want to brush up on my French. Evangelize crypto here, good sir. Yes, I will. Mimblewimble. Yeah, so Mimblewimble. I mean, Beam and Greencoin. I mean, there's been a ton of hype on all of them, especially Greencoin, right? I heard lots of people made some good money on it, right? We got in early. It's interesting to see how that plays out. Crypto tour, looking forward to it. Yeah, so right now, in terms of where I'm going to next, I will be at the Paris Blockchain Week in April. I believe it's the date, sometime in April. I'll be there, right? So if you're in Paris, mon ami, right? Oui. I'll be there. Definitely hit me up if you're there. I'll try to hold a meetup if possible. I haven't really been doing any meetups because I've been busy, as you guys can see with the stuff I've been doing, the app and the VC investing in the syndicate. But if you plan to go, use the code Balina to get 10% off for Paris Blockchain Week. Next month, I haven't yet confirmed this, but I'm planning to possibly go to Hong Kong to Token 2049 conference. It's a blockchain crypto conference with amazing speakers. So I'm planning to be there for that possibly. Then what else? Yeah, I think that, Africa, Uganda too, right? I'm planning to go to the Africa Blockchain Conference in Uganda, Kampala, Uganda, where I'm born, right? I got to go there and represent, right? So yeah, not the one in South Africa or Johannesburg, the one in Uganda. There are two conferences, so it is kind of confusing. Thoughts on QSP? Quantstamp? I haven't looked back at Quantstamp since. I've heard I'm not sure if it's just of how legit this is, but then really getting much traction, or people aren't really using their token. Tokyo, yes, I have to go to Tokyo again. I want to bring Diego to Tokyo. Diego hasn't been to Asia. Diego, our business partner, I'm sorry, he's been to Asia, but I mean, he hasn't been to Japan and Korea. So yeah, I want to bring him there. What else, guys? How would I market the app? I would market the app to the community. I mean, as you guys know, I'm a good marketer, right? I mean, I do have a big following through my I guess tactics or whatever you want to call it, or marketing. But also, I mean, just simple. I mean, even simple referral commission or whatever, right? Or affiliate program or something, right? I'm pretty sure people will like free tokens, right? I mean, it's going to be the biggest airdrop in history financially, right? I mean, because I know what was the other one? Ontology made people a ton of money. This is definitely not talking about the valuation of anything, right? Not financial advice, right? I'm just saying Ontology, people did pretty well with that, right? So yeah. Anyway, I'll stop talking. Thoughts on Zilliqa? Am I still bullish? I mean, over anything else, yes, but I'm personally haven't invested in Zilliqa. I haven't kept tabs on it. They're supposed to launch a mainnet, so I'm not sure if that's launched already. I think it should be launched, right? Am I accumulating or waiting on the sidelines? I am not accumulating. I am on the sidelines waiting. Right now, I'm on the sidelines trying to make more money, basically trying to make more cash. Right? So we've been doing more biz dev with stuff we're doing. I've been just building projects, right? The app, looking for expanding towards into equity investing. So just kind of educating myself on that. So I'd say educating myself and just looking for ways to make more money so that I can then put more into crypto, right? But right now, I haven't really been buying much crypto at all. Well, I haven't bought crypto in a while. I've just been either getting paid in crypto or getting profits or selling whatever I had in crypto already. All right, guys, I love you too as well. This has been a great AMA. I love all the questions. What happened to Matic Network? They claim to be getting us to advisors that never materialized, so that's what happened. Ended up not investing. Yeah, guys, this was a great AMA. Yes, I am back in action. Hopefully, you guys like the overview with the stuff that I've been working on, what I'm thinking right now, so you guys know where I'm at. And yeah, if you guys want to join the syndicate and be part of the Private Mastermind, I'll make an official announcement on my Telegram later in a couple of days, I think. Right now I'm letting people in the YouTube perks and the last mastermind have time to kind of fill out their applications first. But yeah, guys, yes, hopefully you guys like the AMA with Lynn Ulbricht. I keep on saying that wrong. And Ross and the Free Ross movement, right? It's definitely not cool how that whole thing went down. He's been a pioneer. Definitely doesn't deserve back-to-back life sentences and 40 years, right? But yeah, guys, with that being said, guys, we're here hacking the culture, rocking the merch to the moon and beyond. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I love you guys. Smash the like buttons. Okay, all right.